Hi YouTube, I'm Jasper with Take the Bait TV. Today I'm here on No Name Key to show you the differences in saltwater leader and what you need to be using when. This isn't a definitive guide, but this is a good start and has some general rules of thumb to use when you're fishing saltwater or freshwater even for some of this stuff. So first off, we're going to talk about fluorocarbon leader. Fluorocarbon is a specialized leader. It's similar to monofilament, which is what most people use on the bulk of their rods when they're starting out. And it's great because it has a lot of stretch, which means that when you're fishing braid or something that has very little stretch in the main line, you need something that has a bit more stretch for the leader. It's also really good because this is 30 pound, but it's near invisible. This is 10 pound, and I can hardly find it. So you use this a lot when you're going for fish that spook a lot easier, like tarpon or bonefish or permit, a lot more sport fish like that. But one of the drawbacks, it does not have the best abrasion resistance. So you can't use it with super toothy fish like sharks or mackerel or anything like that. However, what we do have that's good for toothy fish is wire. This here is coated wire, and this is around 240, 250 pound if I remember right. And this wire is specifically good for live baiting because this is braided coated, which means that it's a lot more flexible, so it allows the live bait to do its thing and look more natural and have a more natural presentation than other single strand wire like we use for our other rods, because this is a bit easier to tie or connect than the braided wire. With this wire you need to use crimps in general. I did tie a knot in here, but it didn't work very well because it's braided wire. But with these, with single strand wire, this again is 240, 250, somewhere in that range wire, that you have to use a haywire twist for, which I am not the best at, but an example of that is shown right here. This is not a good haywire twist because you can tell that the actual haywires are not tight. The barrel rolls are all right, but the haywire is not very good. However, monofilament also has its purposes as a leader material. You can tie for a lot of purposes. You can tie your line or your lure or your hook or whatever you need straight to monofilament, and that's good for purposes that the fish are not super toothy and also they're not super picky or leader shy. So for fish like snapper or other smaller, less picky fish like pinfish and that sort of thing, you can use monofilament no problem. But also, you start using monofilament when you get into really big sharks. This is 400 pound monofilament, and what we do for this, we have a bite leader that is actually 2 strands of that big wire that I talked about before, the single strand 250 pound. It's 2 strands of that woven together so it's even more bite resistant for big sharks. But then that's also crimped on to 400 pound mono. This gives it good stretch and also the ability for us to grab the line easier when we get a shark closer. We have about 15 or 20 feet of this 400 pound mono, and that allows us to land a shark a lot easier. Single strand wire, however, is not just limited to the big sharks and stuff like that. They also do make smaller single strand wire like this. This is around 40 or 50 pound if I remember right. And this is what I use for catching barracuda and other smaller toothy fish. It allows for a more natural bait presentation than I would get with the bigger wire that you can tell is very stiff even with a 20-aught hook on there. This allows for a more natural bait presentation. I can fish lures on this, which I cannot do with super heavy wire like the 250 pound, but it does not give the best presentation for leader shy fish. Now I could go on and on about how we make our shark rigs or how we tie any other type of rig, but this is not the video for that. I'm just giving you a brief idea of what type of leader you need to be using for what type of fish. On the topic of leaders, there's also the problem of how you connect your leader line to your main line. And the two main ways to do that are either with a swivel or with a knot. There are multiple different kinds of swivels you can use. You can use barrel swivels, you can use clip swivels, and that is not this video. For this video, for all intensive purposes, all the swivels are going to be talked about the same, and that is for when a fish may twist or you don't need the most natural presentation. However, there are two main knots we also use for connecting main lines for when we don't expect the fish is going to twist a lot during the fight, or it does need a very natural presentation of the bait. And those two knots we use are the uni-to-uni knot and the FG knot. The FG knot is better when tied right because it's stronger and it allows it to go through the guides of the rod more smoothly. However, the uni-to-uni knot is faster when you're not very good at either of them, and that's really about the only advantage. That's the only reason we tie a uni-to-uni knot, but it does not slide through the guides as well. We hope this video helped with your fishing adventures, so now you know a general idea of what line to use when for leader material, and connect that to your main line for different scenarios. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. We love hearing from you guys. If you have any video ideas for our next videos, we'd love to hear them. Also, please like and subscribe to this channel so we can grow and keep doing videos like this for you guys. Thank you.